Hi everyone, it's Arts from Carbon and Construction Limited. So today I'm starting a new job. So basically we're just gonna re-roof this roof. I think it is original. It's got some leaks, so has to be expected. And never do that as a flashing. Always use lead. That's what it should be. That's what's been done. That's why it's leaking. So that it's cracked here, there, and everywhere. You got gaps like that, and yeah, it's bound to let water in. There's been some repairs done because there's bigger gaps, I guess. So it still didn't help because it's found its way in. Also, what doesn't help, it's the tar felt underneath, which unfortunately has perished over time. So we'll basically replace like for like roof, but what we will do, we will put some fascia vents so we don't have to worry about it sweating inside in the winter times. So we'll just improve it slightly. We'll put also felt trays so the felt doesn't sag, because this doesn't have a felt tray. This sits straight on and it just rots the fascia board. So yeah, other side is pretty much the same. I'll film that when I get to it. I thought I'll catch up with you on this one, and yeah, we'll just make a start. Tiles are off. A bit of a messing around with the cemented flashing, if you can call that. As you can see, that's where it was getting in, saturated there. So above there was alright. It's just that corner there was somehow managing to get in. So yeah, and on this side again, corner, and there's a bit, some runs higher up as well. But as you can see, the state of the felt, it's got holes everywhere. So we're gonna change it for breeder felt, as I said, and we'll put also the vent, fascia vent, which is here. See, so but for today what I'll do, I'll just start stripping a few battens, and just keep going with my felt. Usually you go from bottom, or from top, sorry, down, so you got clear afters, but because I'm gonna run out of daylight, I'm gonna have to sort of do it other way around, and shouldn't be too bad. So yeah, so I get, I think I got 3 to take off, 3 or 4 battens, and then I can get to the felt lifting off, so I can cover. So what I managed to do is cover those corners mostly, and this section. So if there's a little split or something, so it shouldn't be, but you know, so it's covered from elements. And those are the biggest splits as well, as you can see. Well, you can see, but the problem is, sooner or later that would have leaked as well, because the felt has dropped. So what we'll do, we'll put 4x2 along the side of the other 4x2, and that way we'll pick up this tray, flashing tray, and then we'll obviously, that will hold and sit in there, and we'll do flashing down to it and onto the tiles. So that should be bulletproof then. The only thing we're gonna have to clean the peg off and stuff, and just put new peg in joints just to make it stronger, because this place is a bit weak, so just tie it all in. So yeah, that's where we are, and yeah, so we're gonna crack on. So let's start stripping so we can start backfilling in, and then not today but tomorrow we can mess around with that, and we'll just or once it's been done, because that is not that important. And the same for these trays, upstand trims, sorry, and we'll do the same. We'll get everything else done and then we'll worry about it. But what we will have to do here, as you can see, we're quite close with that rafter to the wall, so we're gonna have to put rafter alongside of here, which is helpful because that has rotten a little bit as well because of the ages of the leak getting saturated and rotting away. But we're gonna pick that up with the timber on the other side, so our batten will stop short. And reason being is because we need to allow for this to sit there, so this part will be sitting onto the batten, and we'll just stack in a batten, and then tile will go over, and that way we will make sure that there's no problems in the future. It is a bit more work, costs a bit more money, but let's do it better ones than mess around with it. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's crack on. So we made a start, we put that yesterday. How I measure out for the first batten, obviously you can check the recommended dimensions in description when you choose the tiles, what your batten have to be set out at. In my case it's 318. So what I will do, I have put some pins temporary just to hold that down so it doesn't flap. I'll go check your 318 to the top, so actually 315, but thereabouts. So what you can do to make sure it is accurate, because also what you need to bear in mind with old roofs, not always things will be parallel, so you want to set out your first row so it runs parallel to the gutter, so one end doesn't end up being higher if it's not square, if you know what I mean, if the building is not square. So what I am doing with the old or even new, I'm setting always my batten from fascia board to the top parallel with the building. So if there is any discrepancies and you need to do cuts, you're gonna have to do cuts on the edges, you know, where it might kick. So also what you can do, like I did a couple pins either end and then in the middle. So what I'll go through and you just can double check, put the tile on, you can double check the measurement, so it's 75mm. So I'll nail this end and I just use the same tile and go make sure everywhere is 75mm, and that way we can have a tile which has been, or batten which has been set out correctly for our tile. So, and then you want to make a jig or make a T-piece, so a piece of batten which one will be sitting over here. So I'll just show you. So what I'll do a batten like so, and that, I'll cut that at 32 millimeters, and then when we do our next batten, that will mean that our next batten will be spot on 32 top, because what sometimes happens, if you go from the bottom, battens are on the same width, and that could make your measurements wrong by the time you get to the middle or the top, and it won't look equal. So that's why you always want from top to top, so it always is where the tile will be actually hanging on, so that measurement is right. It doesn't matter what's between, because as I said, sometimes the battens aren't the same thickness, so, or width, sorry, because they're only sawn. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing now, setting the first out, and then we'll make a jig, and that will allow us to just copy paste basically measurements, so we don't have to think too much about it. So yeah, hope you're enjoying it, and I'll catch you in a bit.